Batman's White Knight has been a huge success, the size of which is equalled only by how big a disappointment it was in the end. It was a truly inspiring, exciting, innovative piece of art which descended into a relatively meaningless series of pin-ups. And that might sound harsh, but from a storytelling point of view, if you take away the pretty artwork, there is nothing there. A lot of people said it would end up like this, and I didn't believe them. I didn't believe them because they had no more evidence than I did. We were going off the same information, and what I saw was the best for the story. I saw where I thought it was going. I genuinely believe that it is I'm still struggling to see how it went so wrong towards the end. They ended up being right, but I don't know if they were any more informed than I was, and if it was just a difference of opinion, then somebody had to be right. But they saw a trend where I saw a possibility, and I saw the possibility of a truly great hero story. But this isn't a hero story for anyone, even for the Joker. Every single meaningful event in this story is mitigated by poor storytelling, plot holes, forgotten characters, and nauseating moments of like forced girly nursery school reconciliation. And that's extremely frustrating to me because these stories are about conflict, adversity, and overcoming that. The Joker. Let's start with the Joker. I'll start with him because you know what I'm like. I always find the villain to be the most boring character. So my issue with Joker is he didn't go on any kind of journey yet. Sean Gordon Murphy stated that he wanted to make it the story from the Joker's point of view, and DC kind of went, well, that's already been done. We would prefer you to do something else that would actually sell. And he said, well, it's a multi-perspective story anyway, from the points of view of the whole Bat family and all that. So I could just do a straight Batman story. That's fine. Sounded good. It went very well from the beginning. And what ended up happening was the Joker's own journey wasn't a journey. We were left in doubt and mystery as to what exactly was the level of control that the Joker and Jack Napier had over each other. Were they indeed the same person? And like the Joker is just a symptom of Jack Napier's psychosis, but he can keep that under wraps. Like a hallucination is a symptom of being schizophrenic. It's not schizophrenia in itself. You can take a drug to stop the hallucinations, but you will still have schizophrenia. You will still have disproportionate emotional reactions to things. You will still have the tendencies, but you could manage them long enough on medication alone without looking after yourself to give the appearance of being well. And that seemed to be the route that Sean Gordon Murphy was going down. And that was interesting. That was interesting to see that the Joker would kind of hamstring himself like that. Please excuse the DIY noises. I'm outside today, which was a mistake. Joker kind of hamstrings himself by becoming Jack Napier again in order to play the long game. And then what happens is, because of this absolutely nauseating Joker-Harley relationship that has to be honoured and shoved in our faces, as Harley Quinn gets undeservedly exalted, they just reveal that Jack Napier and Joker are, for all intents and purposes, completely different people. They just happen to occupy the same body. They don't outright state that, because I don't think they've even thought it that far through. But they make Jack Napier almost a martyr to the Joker. Like, they don't explain... They explain that the Joker and Jack Napier are completely different people, and Jack Napier's motives are his own, and he made the decisions independently of Joker because he didn't want to be Joker anymore. So then why does he want to beat Batman if he's just Jack Napier? He's proved his innocence, got back together with his girlfriend. Why does he need to beat the Batman? It makes no sense. They made out, obviously, in the beginning, it's like, I don't think he made his mind up until the very end what he was going to do with the Joker thing. I genuinely don't think he had the ending planned, and that comes across because the ending kind of contradicts the beginning. Jack Napier, by not actually being the Joker or under the Joker's control, or a kind of facet of the Joker's personality, or even just a gangster that became the Joker, like in the '89 movie, all the decisions he makes are rendered completely meaningless. Then you've got Harley Quinn, who... Harley Quinn was always a kind of... She was a fun, jokey character with a bit of a tragedy to her. She then became this kind of weird Stockholm Syndrome domestic abuse victim style character. And that was really quite touching and quite powerful, and an important aspect of... Batman's war is on crime, and all the different types of crime, and domestic abuse is crime, hostage taking is a crime, wrongful imprisonment is a crime, and Harley is that facet of criminality, and it's really interesting to see her when she's weak, when she's a strong and independent woman who don't need no man. She comes across as, not only is she not required because nobody actually needs her, she doesn't have a skill set that is required by superheroes. Not only is that the case, but she's also comes across more like a delusion, because that's not who she is. That's not her personality. And so it comes across as false and disingenuous. The two biggest plot holes that were left are the two most important ones, which were Nightwing and Jason Todd. Nightwing, the whole thing for the first 6 or 7 issues was leading up to this massive conflict, not between Batman and the Joker, or not between the Joker and anybody else, but actually between Batman and Nightwing. And Sean Gordon Murphy proved that he actually had no idea how to do that in a meaningful way, so he just forgot about it. They just dropped it. They just completely dropped it, and then they all hug it out at the end, and it's actually quite awful. Every word that comes out of Bruce Wayne and Nightwing's mouth in the last 2 issues that are not those characters. It's like watching a YouTube fan-made film. You're like, you don't know the voice of these characters. I mean, you've made a cool little video, but that's why it'll never be anything more than a fan film. And not dissing fan films, I used to make them myself. The Nightwing thing could have been actually the central point of the story if they'd played it right, if they'd known what they were doing. I would have preferred, a straight up Batman as the main character story, but let's look at it from this other angle of, well, what if it had been Batman and the Joker's war against each other has eclipsed Batman's war on crime, and Nightwing is the one that has been left with, holding the bag, because all the public eye is on Batman and policing him, and he's paralysed, he can't do anything. He's just trying to stop the Joker when and where he can, but he can't operate normally anymore. Police helicopters looking for him, things like that, so Nightwing has to take over. And Nightwing is realising all these things about Bruce and his methodology and disagreeing with that, and you've got this amazing potential hero's journey where, if you look at Bruce Wayne as the big brother figure, or even the father figure, Nightwing has to have a conflict and resolution with that figure. He also has to have a conflict and resolution with a villain. That could be Joker, or it could be the Neo Joker, it could be Harley Quinn. But they wouldn't do that, because obviously they went down the route of appeasing the Tumblerinas, where Harley Quinn cannot be a battered wife, she must be Professor fucking Moriarty. And that was awful. But no, I would really have rather have seen Nightwing, White Knight, than what we got. And finally, Batman. Batman goes on no journey of any kind in this. It seems like, and I genuinely felt it was a good point, that it was Frank Miller Batman taken to his absolute extreme, to the point where he is publicly battering Joker to a stain on the floor, which I love to see. People like that. People want to see that. The Joker is a an evil, violent criminal, and people want to see him punished. And that's what Batman does. But the thing is, you can also make the argument, which is what I thought the comic was going to do, that, well, justice isn't about what we want to see. It's about justice. It's about, balance and reparation, reconciliation, and peace, really. And we didn't get that either because they went down this bizarre route, bearing in mind that Batman is responding to the Joker, so every decision Joker made being meaningless, as I referred to before, makes every decision Batman makes in response to Jack Napier's speeches at the end meaningless, because Batman decides that he is going to turn himself in to Gordon and reveal his identity as Batman and and be Batman by consent of the people of Gotham, which completely defeats the point of the whole Batman story, because Gotham City is so corrupt that he cannot do that. That's why he's Batman. That's why Bruce Wayne never became a policeman or an FBI agent or even a more Superman type figure where he just kind of performs very enthusiastic citizen's arrest. He's Batman because he has to be. Because, justice and the law are not allowed in Gotham. It is a city run by criminals. It is a city run by Oswald Cobblepot and Harvey Dent. They run everything. And if Sean Gordon Murphy knew anything about Gotham or Batman, he would know that. And so when Batman chooses to out himself, it only serves to baffle the reader, frankly, because firstly, his greatest weapon, which was fear, is now gone because everybody knows who he is. He will then never be able to operate properly as a vigilante, and if he is allowed to operate as a vigilante, the whole point in Batman opposing the GTO was he was saying, Paw Patrol, the whole point in him opposing that was him saying, look, they will be subject to a bureaucracy that is run by criminals. I mean, Batman punches out a guy who is like an influential member of the city for perverting Batman's war on crime by using it to drum up real estate and deliberately drumming up crime and deliberately using Batman hotspots as targets for knocking impoverished people's homes down. These are the types of people that would be running Joker's task force. And so Batman decides for no reason at all to turn himself in. It makes no sense. And then they've got the Jason Todd thing. Jason Todd is the fulcrum around which this whole story turns. It's the reason for Batman becoming more violent and more unhinged. It's the reason for him being unkind to Dick Grayson. And it's left hanging. And not in a cliffhanger way. In a, oh yeah, Jason just left. That's it. That's all we get. They do explicitly state in a sentence. They don't show this again. It's show don't tell kind of thing, and then they just fucking tell. In a comic, no less. Oh yeah, Jason decided that the best way to hurt you was to just have you think he was dead and leave. Right. You not think that the story would have been a bit better if you'd capitalised on that a little bit rather than having a giant rerun of Batman and Robin 1999? You don't think? No? Or was it 97? I can't remember. So, yeah, it was just a complete clusterfuck of a series towards the end and a huge disappointment. And I wish I had better things to say about it. I actually want to do a thing, remember I just said about the show don't tell thing? I want to do another video about modern storytellers and the way they've misinterpreted the show don't tell rule. And I'll need to do a separate video on that. This is a good example of what they did. But yeah, so tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I'm onto something here. Tell me what other disappointments you had in it. Tell me what you think of the series as a whole. This is a retrospective. So let me know your thoughts, and thank you for listening. Please check out my Patreon if you enjoy my videos. Basically, the more incentive I have to make these videos, the more I'll make them, and also I would like to make money off my art as well, so I'm going to start doing commissions on Patreon, so please check that out. Send me a request for a commission and I will do it for you. Read the description on the site, and help me reach my goal of I want to get some money for an adjustable, movable phone stand so that I can get doing. I want to do drawing live streams, and I want to do more how to draw videos as well. I would even consider doing writing ones as well, because obviously I would be able to film myself writing out and doing diagrams and things like that. So go check that out. Give me a hand, and the more cash you give me, the better videos I can make for you. Basically, I can do this for free, but I can only do it to a certain standard for free, and the more the more resources I get, the easier it is for me to make these, and the more it allows me to take time out to make these, the more worthwhile it is, and the more the more equipment I can buy and make better quality stuff. So thank you very much for listening, and yeah, let me know. And most important of all, now that the advertising's finished, please share and please comment. Thank you. Bye bye.